What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. It's both of us, man. It's been a minute. It really has. The month of September is a busy time for us. Us youths out there.
Yes, college is hard. That's all I gotta say.
So,
but good thing I dropped out to focus on this full time. Let's go.
It can't go wrong.
It can't. It's full.
Yeah. So my high school teacher's like, hey, we need this project like tonight, and I'm just like, Mike called. The job has to be done,
Right.
And
that's what
I showed up.
Took Monday off school to prep for the game the whole day, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I took the whole day off of school. I was writing notes, taking stats, getting ready.
He actually wrote the game plan for Shane Waldron.
Shane was like, "Yo, Sam, where's that plan at? We need to. I need to tell the players
why do you think Gino balled? Why do you think Gino balled so hard? It's because Sam took the whole day off school.
Yeah, I took the whole day off of school. I was actually there. Like they didn't show me much, but I was in the booth. I'm like, "Yo,
he was leading the booze of Russell Wilson."
Yeah, I'm like, can we funnel in some crowd noise here? Can we get some of this? No, but for real. We beat the Denver Broncos.
I am appalled.
Led by Russell Wilson.
That still sounds so weird to say.
This one felt a bit sweet.
It did.
It felt a bit sweet. And
it did.
Me personally, I don't really have any super ill will towards Russ. I know that some Seahawks fans are like, I hate Russ. I hope he dies. I don't care anymore. Christ. He's just like, and then there's some Seahawks fans who are like, why would you boo Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I'm in the middle. I'm like, Russ doesn't deserve any special treatment. He's an opposing quarterback coming into play at CenturyLink Field on prime time in week 1.
Right.
He deserves to get that treatment.
Right.
This one felt a bit sweet. We're gonna touch on all aspects. Let's kind of go through the game. I think we're going to go quarter by quarter because I feel like that's how a lot of us Seahawks fans our emotions changed as this game went on. At kickoff, the Seahawks are receiving. I'm like, this is our chance to establish some dominance here.
Yeah.
And by dominance, I mean dominance in being terrible so we can get Bryce Young. That's
correct.
That's the plan, right?
Establish the tank early on in the season. Yeah. Stay consistent. Yeah, no, I was agreeing with that 100%.
And the first drive, the first play, Rashad Penny, no-yard gain. I'm like, this is the perfect 3-and-out situation.
Boom. We're already sucking. Let's go.
Let's go. I can already feel Bryce Young in the locker room, just suiting up at this moment. And then we get the pass to DK. It's like 9 yards. I'm like, strange. Usually tanking teams don't do that.
Yeah, they don't complete 9-yard gains.
Yeah. Can you remember the last time a team tanked? Did they ever complete a 9-yard pass? I don't think so.
I don't believe the Jaguars completed a 9-yard pass all year last year.
Yeah.
I don't think
they did. I don't think they had a pass over 10 yards all season. I mean,
definitely cannot have.
I'm very confident in that stat. I'm going to fact check. I'm very confident.
They just beefed up Trevor Lawrence's stats to make him feel good. Whatever you see is fake didn't actually happen.
Yeah. So then, right, Gino is taking the snap on third down, like 2 or 3, I think it was. Steps up, an absolute laser to a wide open Tyler Lockett in the middle of the zone to midfield. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Are we tanking? I was under the impression that we were going to tank.
I thought we were tanking. I didn't know what was going on either. Very confused.
And then that's when the pandemonium kind of kicked in. It's 3rd and 2, Travis Homer, who honestly, we're not going to slander anymore because he had a great preseason.
We're ex-Travis Homer haters. All right,
yeah.
We are no longer on the.
We're Travis Homer haters in recovery, if you will.
Right. We go to AA meetings for Travis Homer.
That being said, he gets absolutely smoked on a blitz. I mean, the guy absolutely gets trucked by Alex Singleton, who comes in like a freight train right up the middle.
You got dog.
Geno Smith does his Russell Wilson routine. Ducks behind all the offensive linemen. I'm like, where is this man going? He's going to go down. He steps up in the field and finds, of all people, Will Dissly standing butt naked.
He's just naked.
Wide open for a touchdown. Now, think about how Pete Carroll is feeling after this play. Geno's his guy. Everyone else wanted Drew Lock, but Geno's his guy. He's starting Geno.
Right.
Travis Homer is his guy. He's stuck with Travis Homer all the time. He's gonna return our kicks. He's gonna be our third down running back. We're gonna throw screens to him on 3rd and 20. We're gonna run half draws with him on 3rd and 20. Pete loves Travis Homer. He loves Travis Homer.
He does.
So for Travis Homer to at least delay Alex Singleton from ripping Geno's head off, I'm sure was at least somewhat.
Well, that touchdown doesn't happen if Travis Homer doesn't get in the way. I guess you could say.
Travis Homer played Secret Service agent where the bullet's coming in and he's like, Mr. President, no.
he more so interfered. He didn't really block. He just kind of
he took the bullet, if you will. He took the bullet. And then arguably the worst signing in recent Seahawks memory for me, 3-year, $24 million Will Dissly.
Hey, man.
Catching a touchdown. Pete Carroll must have been in euphoria.
He was screaming without the S. You already know.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Mike, what was your thoughts as soon as that first drive ended? We scored in like 4 minutes. The 12s are going crazy. What's your thoughts?
I had a range of emotions. My first thought was, I thought we were tanking. What the fuck is this? My second thought is, Geno Smith is him. Do we even need Bryce Young at this point? My third thought is that, what's the use of even having DK and Tyler Lockett in Estridge if we got Will Dissly? And my theory was proved to be even more true later when we threw a touchdown to Colby Parkinson. I mean, what the hell is going on? We have these world beater tight ends, not the one we traded for in the Russ trade. Like Noah Fant was like the only tight end to not catch a touchdown pass. Yeah, we got these two world beater tight ends. I'm thinking, man, this is like a Super Bowl team. I mean, are you kidding me? Obviously, I was brought back down to earth. But Geno Smith is, I'm going to look what I literally texted you. I think I literally texted you, Geno Smith greater than Jesus Christ. I think this was my exact words.
Okay, so what we have, what we have here is Mike texted me at 8:05 p.m. We're about to get smacked.
I did say that.
And I told Mike, I think it's going to be 31-23, and I meant for Denver. So then,
I needed Penny and DK
Geno Smith. Off. Yeah, Geno Smith scores that touchdown, and he tweets me, Geno Smith is the second coming of Jesus.
That's yep.
And then Kobe Bryant gets cooked, and I go, and you go, Kobe got cooked, man. And then Geno Smith throws another touchdown to Colby Parkinson, and Mike.
I just said Geno Smith.
In a majestic capture of elegance of the moment, just said Geno Smith.
That's all I need.
No periods, no anything like that. Just Geno Smith. You know, simple, but it captures the feeling.
Was there anything else to say? No. It's Geno Smith.
Looking at this game, it's weird because I felt like the Broncos should have won.
They should have.
By a lot.
Well, okay. They should have realistically blown us out. When are you ever going to, except for with Russell Wilson apparently, when are you going to see turnovers at the goal line like they had? Like, when are you going to see that? I mean, for every Seahawks fan, for everybody in the NFL world that was like, oh, run the ball. This is why we didn't run the ball. Pete knew that Marshawn would have fumbled. So, in a weird 4D chess way, he wanted to lose the Super Bowl off of a pass and not off of a run. See, I always believed Coach Carroll, and I always knew that he knew what was up. This just proved it. I mean, the Broncos did it twice.
You know, and that adds another layer of beef to the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson thing. He doesn't want Marshawn getting any of the blame. He wants all the blame to go to Russell.
100%. 100%. That right there planted the seed of the trade. What was it, 7 years, 7.5, 8 years before?
8 years ago. Yeah, so, it planted the thoughts of a trade before anyone even thought of that as a possibility. Russ was in his 3rd year.
Right.
And Pete's already this just shows how the master strategist that Pete Carroll is. He's already planning 8 years into the future, thinking when is Russ going to demand that trade?
He's scouting guys for the 2023
Pete
draft.
Had Bryce Young already.
No, he did. He had Bryce Young. He was watching Bryce Young like 5th grade film at this point. Like
and he's like, this is our guy. This is our guy.
He knew he loved Noah Fant, Shelby Harris. Those guys weren't even in the league yet. He didn't care.
Well, Shelby Harris, I think, was in the league, but
Harris maybe was.
I think Noah Fant was in high school.
Noah Fant, he was watching Noah Fant high school film. I mean, that's just the dog mentality of Pete Carroll to see so far into the future. He was planting the seeds already back in early 2015. It's incredible. It's incredible. And if he had to sacrifice a Super Bowl for the greater good of the Seattle Seahawks, then he had to make that move. Yeah.
He
But
might have like a crystal ball where he can just like see into the future.
right,
And like, what if every little stupid thing we think he's done is like a weird Doctor Strange thing
yeah,
where it's like
14 million
he
realities.
knows that everything needs to go our way to set up like a dynasty, to set
Yeah,
up like a Seahawks dynasty. Like he's gonna get fired and he's gonna be like, we had something, we had something.
him getting fired is
Yeah.
part of the plan. Don't worry. No,
Yeah.
he went in his little reality bender thing and found 14 million realities, and this is the one reality in which the Seahawks become the greatest dynasty of all time. So in about 5 years, we got Bryce Young at quarterback, Kenneth Walker is the league's leading rusher. He's just gonna hold up a one, and it's gonna be like Doctor Strange in an Endgame, just one. And we're all gonna be like, what the hell? But we'll know. Me and Sam will know.
He's gonna be like 80. He's gonna be like decrepit with like a cane with like tennis balls on the end on the sideline.
Gonna get ran over on the sideline, get carted off the field, just
up
the one.
Yeah. I mean, listen. The Broncos should have realistically beat us in this game.
Oh, 100%.
You look at how this game went, the Broncos controlled us on defense.
Oh, 100%.
Like besides
second half, they dominated us.
Besides a punt, a stupid missed field goal, which we will certainly talk about.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing, this is when you knew that the football gods wanted this game to go our way. 2 1-yard line fumbles.
Crazy. Which, by the way, Uchenna Nwosu, NFC Player of the Week. We give it up for my boy.
JS started cooking as soon as Russ left. JS is like, now we start cooking with oil.
I'm going to acquire the greatest defensive player and good offensive lineman the second Russ Wilson leaves.
What if that's what all those weird signings were about?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. They know what's up.
What if Artie Burns comes in and is like defensive player of the
best,
like best. 7 picks?
Yeah,
just
It's like when you play corner in your Madden franchise, you just pick everybody off.
Yeah, I mean, dude, let's talk about do you think the Seahawks can realistically play competitive football for the rest of this season?
I don't know. Here's my thing, right? Couple things kind of going on for the Seahawks versus the Broncos in this game that they had this advantage, right? I think Russell Wilson coming back to Seattle was a big advantage for the Seahawks because they're riled up. They want to prove that this guy left them and they're the team and everything. They could win without Russell Wilson. They had the emotions were on their side. The Broncos, this wasn't really a big game for the Broncos. It was a big game for Russell Wilson specifically, but it was a big game for the whole Seattle Seahawks organization, right? Mm-hmm. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is Geno Smith. I think because he played in the preseason and because he's been here as the backup for so many years, looks really good in week 1. Is he going to look really good week 6, 7, 8? Maybe not, but week 1, teams don't have a lot of film on him. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot to do to prepare. I think Geno Smith, this is one of the best he's going to look. I mean, he went, 17 of 18 in the first half, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The dude was cooking, legitimately balling.
Not like Russ, not like let Russ cook cooking.
No.
It was like, it's not like they're trying to make something huge and it burns the house down. Gino was trying to make like a DiGiorno pizza.
Right.
But it came out and it was perfect.
The crust was risen. The cheese was perfectly melted. It wasn't burnt. Perfect. And we saw in the second half, didn't look as good. I'm not going to say he looked bad. I'm not going to say that he, fell off or whatever. But it was very clear that first half was significantly more. Yeah. Right. So, can the Seahawks continue to play? And I think what you're leading into is potentially fight for a playoff spot. I'm gonna hold off optimism. Also, thinking about the fact that Jamal Adams may or may not be out for the year, which sucks.
Which I would assume he is.
Which yes, I would assume he is as well. So I'm gonna hold off hope. I will say, 49ers coming up this next week. We'll get into that a little bit later. We beat the 49ers, and I think my optimism grows a lot. But I'm gonna chalk this one up to a very emotional game, and the Seahawks kind of put it all on the field. That's what I'm gonna say. And a lot of things really went our way. Again, no team we're gonna play is gonna fumble twice at the 1-yard line again. It's going to be hard to miss game-winning kicks. Just clock man. Broncos mismanaged the hell out of the clock. It was baffling how badly they mismanaged the clock. And again, I don't think Geno Smith is going to look like, ironically, Russell Wilson for large portions of the season, if we're being honest. So can it happen? Yes, but I'm going to hold off hope just yet. I'm still praying for the tank. You know what I mean? I'm still hoping for that 1-16 Seahawks season. Get Bryce Young first overall. That's my real hope. But Seahawks, they got fight. They definitely have some fight in them. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm really curious on if this game has any meaning towards the rest of the season, because this game felt different. It didn't feel like a normal game. Like, things just happened differently. The fans were berserk. They were absolutely insane.
I saw a tweet from a Broncos fan, which was this a little bit salty? Yes, but I think it's true. I think they were saying that this is the Seahawks Super Bowl and this might be the peak of their season. And I honestly don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree.
I can't reasonably say that that's wrong.
The Broncos are going to go to the playoffs, or they're going to at least be fighting for a playoff spot. They have bigger and better things. I think this was Seattle's Super Bowl, and they had the edge emotionally. I think that was very clear, very, very clear. The 12s were into it. So I think, I don't want to say this game was meaningless, but you're not going to get what you got this week every week, So That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I think that the overall aspect that the Broncos gave this game away is kind of getting overblown, especially among Seahawks fans, because when you look at it, there was also two key turning points for the Seahawks that you can point to as well. Geno had a QB sneak on like 4th and inches.
Yeah.
That
killed the momentum.
We were inside the 20. It was an opening drive. We would have gotten points on that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the sneak, he got it, and he put his left foot in the ground to drive forward. And he slipped.
Yeah.
And it blew up the whole thing. Timing was off. I still think he almost got it, but it was just short.
Yeah,
it's a bummer, but you know what?
I think the other turning point.
The other turning point was we get that first fumble. Melvin Gordon loses it at the 1.
Yeah.
Mike Jackson brings it out to the 10. Now we're getting a drive going. Geno Smith on 3rd and 10, laser beamed at DK. DK uses that frame, which we were asking Russ to do so much with DK.
Yes.
Treat him like a Jimmy Graham. Like, do you remember when Russ had Jimmy Graham and he's just like,
oh yeah,
Jimmy down there somewhere. Jimmy down there somewhere.
Throw it here somewhere.
DK is that big. He can box out corners. Geno gives him a chance. He catches it, holds it out right in front of Pat Surtain. And strong hands manages to pull it in to gain a 15 first down. The next play, we were on a screen. I don't know why we run screens anymore. They're cursed. DK fumbles. And that was a good drive. We were moving past midfield.
Yeah.
Probably would have resulted in points.
Yeah.
Another huge momentum swing. We're talking about potentially either 6 points, potentially 14 points that the Seahawks lost there.
Right.
And so when you look at that, it seems like things also had to go well for Denver to still stay in this game. I feel like people really talk about the things that went wrong for Denver when you could be talking about the things that went wrong for the Seahawks.
I would say another example is Geno Smith on 3rd down. I believe it was 3rd down and 8, and Bradley Chubb just absolutely cooks Charles Cross, which, by the way, all things considered, I thought Charles Cross did a very good job for about 3 quarters. He was getting cooked in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
But
Bradley Chubb is a Pro Bowl.
Bradley Chubb's a Pro Bowl edge rusher. Like,
it's his first game. I'm not going to overblow a tackle struggling in week 1.
But again, I thought he did good for about 3 quarters. Got cooked on that play though. Strip sack, Geno. I think that kind of deflated Seattle a little bit. And then obviously, the Broncos had a lot of momentum going into the 4th quarter. I want to talk about that last drive though. The Broncos got the ball back with 3 minutes left?
I would say 4 minutes left.
Yeah,
because the Seahawks got the ball with 6 minutes, and we wasted about 2 minutes going 3 and out.
Right. So you have Russell Wilson. You have 2 or 3 timeouts. They have 3 timeouts.
They had 3.
They had 3 timeouts. The Broncos should have gone down the field and won that game. They needed a point. They could have just gotten in field goal range. So on that 4th and 5.
Well, I feel like we're kind of jumping ahead here. If we just want to talk about that last series of 4 plays where Denver is at the Seahawks 40,
Yeah.
45 maybe.
Yeah.
And then they run a play, 1st and 10. Cody Barton played his heart out. The guy played his absolute heart
Yes.
out.
Sniff the hell out of
Makes
that screen.
makes a hell of a tackle on Javonte
Mhm.
Williams, and Cody Barton talked about it. Pete Carroll all offseason, the one thing, we feel that Cody is a very smart football player. Cody Barton
Mhm.
talked about it. He said throughout the tape and throughout the game, we noticed that whenever Javonte Williams would come out of the backfield and kind of pitter-pat his feet, we noticed that it was going to be a screen.
Yeah.
So Cody used that and absolutely sniffed it out, made a hell of a play. It's like a loss of like 4. That's basically a sack.
Yeah.
So that is huge. Now it gets 2nd and 14, 3rd and 14 after a Broncos incompletion. Now you're talking about third and 15.
Yeah.
Strange play call to well, I feel like it's not a strange play call if you think of they're trying to get in the range where they can go for it.
Right. You're calling 2 plays there. So to get a play that gets 9 yards on 3rd and 14 is good if you're going to go for it on 4th and 5. It makes 4th down a lot more manageable.
You can set up now a 4th and manageable where you can actually drop a screen or a 5 and out, something quick to get the ball out of his hands and get a 1st down. Javonte Williams makes a hell of a play.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog.
He had 11 catches, which is the 2nd most of any player last week. Not just running backs, not just Broncos players.
I'm aware I was going against him in fantasy, and I lost.
Oh, jeez.
I was thrilled when he fumbled, though. I was within like 8 points, and he fumbled, and it's like 4, and I was like, come on, Rashad Penny. I need him to feed the beast. And they didn't, and then Javonte Williams caught like 5 more passes, and I was like, dude. Anyway, 4th and 5, right? What happened? First of all, I just want to say this. This has been said a lot. I'm just going to repeat this. You're paying Russell Wilson $240 million. You trade 2 first-round picks, 3 guys, 2 second-round picks. In those situations, you got to let Russ be Russ. You got to let Russ get the 1st down.
You have to let Russ cook.
You have to let Russ cook. If he doesn't get the 1st down, that's on him. That's on him. And he should take the heat, and Nathaniel Hackett should be defenseless against that. He said, hey, maybe if it was a shitty play call, you got to let Russ go for it, right? Put the ball in the hands of the guy you're paying $240 million, right? That's first of all. Second of all, to waste all of that time, call a timeout, at that point, a field goal, or at that point, you got 1 play left. You got the field goal. So if they would have called a timeout and still kicked the ball and missed like they did, Seahawks get the ball back, you can burn more timeouts. You could have a chance to get the ball back. There's no logical reasoning of why they killed that much time just to not go for it on 4th and 5. I don't get it. I don't understand it. The booth was very confused. Joe Bug and Troy Aikman were absolutely flabbergasted. They were like, no, and it was funny because they were talking about, oh, Russell Wilson, oh, they're gonna stay on the field for 4th down, and you see Russ jogging off the field, and in my head, I'm like, are they kicking this?
Yes,
I'm trying to do the math.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
I'm trying to do math in my head. I'm like, 64. This is a 64-yarder. This is like.
Now, here's my argument. If you're gonna kick it, my thought process is you have that field goal team by your side on that sideline. So as soon as Javonte Williams goes down, offense hustles off, kicking team hustles on. You may be able to get a kickoff with like 40 seconds left. Now you have 3 timeouts. If you miss, the Seahawks have the ball. They probably run it 3 times. Let's assume that they don't get the 1st down. Immediately after all those runs, you can call those 3 timeouts. You might have 25, 30 seconds left to potentially go down and do something again.
To kick a field goal. Again, all you gotta do is kick a field goal. You need, assuming a touchback, and you have about 30 seconds left, you got to get about 40, 50 yards in 25, 30 seconds. That's doable. You manage the sidelines well, that is doable.
You manage the sidelines, you have everybody running up to get those spikes down.
The ball.
You can work that, and you can make that happen.
I don't understand.
I've never, ever seen a coach so confident that his kicker is going to make a 64-yard kick.
Which, like, I mean,
they treated that like he was at like the 10-yard line, and they're just like, all right, let's run down the clock.
Justin Tucker. That's what they treated like. If it's Justin Tucker, I'm like, all right.
Hell, I wouldn't be that confident in Justin Tucker making a 64-yard kick. I wouldn't. Justin Tucker is the best kicker. Do you know the numbers on kickers attempting 62+ yard kicks?
Isn't it like 7%?
2 in 41.
Yeah.
2 for 41 before Brandon Manning steps up. How are you that confident in a kicker kicking? He hasn't made one in 5 attempts in his entire career playing in Denver.
Let's also pretend for a second that they did have Justin Tucker. Okay, you have Justin Tucker. That's great. You got a quarterback who you're paying $240 million, and it's 4th and 5. It's not 4th and 20. It's not 4th and 15. It's 4th and 5. You're telling me that with 3 timeouts and with all that time on the clock, you can't trust Russell Wilson to get 5 yards. He can't get half a first down. Really?
With the way the Broncos were moving that ball, I am 100. Almost, I wouldn't say 100. I'm 99% confident you can get a quick curl to a tight end or get the running back out of the backfield.
Our corners were low. We're getting banged. Our corners are young, first of all.
Well, actually, I think our corners played fairly well.
They did.
A majority of Denver's completions came through the tight ends and the running backs.
Yes.
My argument is
Judy. I don't really can't think of a bad example of one game.
Cortland Sutton got open like twice.
Yeah, and Woolen got one or
a PI.
Two.
Yeah, he got one PI.
Yeah, one PI.
But,
other than that, solid debut.
I mean, can you remember a more strange moment? I mean, weird things happen in Seattle, especially in prime time. Weird things happen.
Yes.
We saw it with Russ. It happened. You know, Russ would drive down in 20 seconds and win. We'd be like, how did he do that? This is Russ's moment. The NFL schedule makers are sitting there saying, yes, this is what we wanted. Russ taking the team down the field, scoring a game-winning touchdown, getting revenge over the team that traded him.
Goodell was in his office just absolutely like pacing. Like, please for the storylines, can I get this?
Now, when he comes out on 4th down with 50 seconds left, I'm like, this makes sense to rush him out, get him at the line. But then they get out of it. And Russ had and talking to people. And he's like, hey, Cortland Sutton, you do this, and Judy, you do this, and hey, Albert O, you do this. Like, I'm like, all right, listen, if you guys don't know what the play is, call a timeout. Call a timeout like 40 seconds left.
Do you watch the Manning
yes.
cast? Peyton Manning was just
I actually have the official number. Peyton Manning signaled for timeout 62 times. That's the official number. He went boom, 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 over and over again. Just like, call a timeout.
Here's another thing I was thinking about. And this is a little weird thing to me. Russell Wilson, I don't know if he doesn't have the authority or if he just didn't have the whereabouts about him to call timeout. Why couldn't Russ just call timeout there? Does he not have the?
I imagine that it had to be a mutual thing, because I think that I wholeheartedly believe that if Russ didn't like that play call, he would have kind of put in an executive decision.
Yeah, that's just weird to me. I don't know.
To change it up. I mean,
everybody's slaughtering Nathaniel Hackett right now, rightfully so. But in my opinion, I'm kind of thinking, well,
I think that Russ can't have zero accountability, considering that the argument that Russ may have not who said Russ liked the call? If Russ doesn't like the call, he can call a timeout. He's got to
have that authority.
He's one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the NFL. He's one of the most respected quarterbacks in the NFL.
Now,
he has to be able to call a timeout there.
Yeah. If this would have happened to like a Justin Fields, a Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, one of the young guys, I'm thinking, okay, they're young. They probably don't have all the authority to be a coach on the field. Russell Wilson, again, you want to talk about the investment they're making into him and his reputation over the years, should and most likely does have that authority to call timeout on the field. So to me, Russell Wilson's not blameless here. He's not. You know, the clock mismanagement at the end of the game is partially on him as well. Just really, really. And another thing, he knows the 12s. He knows the crowd's going to go crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah. Me personally, if I had a say in what to do, I rush the offense out there. I maybe let Russ call a play on the field. And I think I might let him. I think I might let him run a play there, and just get to the line, run a play with like 50 seconds left. If you don't get it, you can get the ball back. If you don't get it, it's not the end of the world. You can get the ball back. I've never seen a coach that confident that a kicker is going to make a 64-yard field goal in a city which is literally next to the ocean.
Yeah. It's called the Pacific Northwest for a reason, dog.
I mean, he's never made a field goal that long in Denver, where you are 5,000 feet in the air.
Right.
All of a sudden, now it's like, oh yeah, let's send this guy out. The air is coming in off the Pacific, but we're gonna let him kick that.
I would rather. Here's two things I'll say. I would rather lose the game putting all my faith in Russell Wilson than lose the game putting zero faith in Russell Wilson.
Because then you don't get slandered. Then you don't get slandered.
Well, not even you don't get slandered. It's like, okay, here's the guy.
All right, that makes sense. It's a logical decision.
Right. It gives you the best chance to win. And to Brandon McManus's credit, he was long. He had the distance. It was wide by a little bit, but he had the distance. Made me nervous for a second there.
Real quick, before we kind of I want to do one more thing before we end this video, but real quick, just on this. Can we also talk about how weird it is that Nathaniel Hackett got to see that his kicker missed it wide the first time?
And then
it wasn't even close. Apparently, someone at the game, Mike Dugar, said it looked 8 yards short. Why are you sending your kicker? Yeah, Hackett's like, run it back.
Run it back.
Yeah. No,
second time's a charm, baby. See, normally what happens in that instance is when a team calls a timeout, kicker makes the first one. And then they're like, okay, just do it again. And then maybe he's a little ice, he's a little cold, maybe he misses the second one. But he normally makes the first one before they call him back. Bro missed both of them. He missed both.
You know what? We have a limited amount of time left in this Zoom meeting, so we're going to move on to our last little piece here. I want to start doing some this season where we give out offensive, defensive, and special teams player of the game for our team, whether we win or lose. Yes. Offensive, I feel like it has to go to one guy, right?
Geno Smith.
It's got to be Geno Smith.
He's a dog.
Congratulations, Geno. You get the first ever always compete offensive player of the week trophy. Woo!
Nice, my man.
Defense. This is also feels like a pretty obvious one. The guy who literally won Defensive Player of the Week for the NFL, Uchenna Nwosu. Man, what a game!
We called it the offseason. We said the most underrated signing of the year was Uchenna Nwosu. What does he do? First week, saves the game. First of all, second of all, wins the.
It was absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful.
It's beautiful. We know our shit.
And I do want to give a couple honorable mentions for some other defensive players. I feel like Jordan Brooks and Cody Barton deserve shout-outs. I think Mike Jackson, who had 2 fumble recoveries, deserves a shout-out. And I also think that Shelby Harris deserves a shout-out.
Yeah, my boy.
Shelby Harris
That's a real revenge game right there.
A petty dude, and I kind of vibe with it. The way that he goes,
love Shelby.
He gets the post-game interview. They ask, so what was the defense thoughts at the 2-yard line? And both those fumbles at the 1-yard line. And he goes, that's what happens when you trade a defensive lineman to the other team. Baller.
Love it.
Baller.
Wait. We're missing the best part of the game. We missed the best part of the game.
They wrote me off.
And I write back.
I didn't write back.
I write back.
I write back.
I was watching that and I was like, write that down, bro.
And the NFL Twitter account was funny. They said the NFL, and then they changed their bio to left unread by Geno Smith. That's great. It's great. No, but Geno, that quote is going to survive forever, whether we go 1-16 or 17-0 this season. 100%. That quote is going to survive forever.
Played at the draft next year when we have like the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
I write back. Well,
no,
now Geno, no team.
No, but Shelby Harris at the end of that with James Palmer. James Palmer goes, "Any last thoughts on the game?" And he goes, "All I gotta say is, let's ride." And he walks away from the mic.
Man,
he walks away from the mic. The energy from that game was radiant. The players 100%. Wanted it badly. The Seahawks, that might have been the most passionate game I've ever watched them play.
100%. Like I said, it was their Super Bowl.
Honestly, I think all of this credit has to go to Pete Carroll. And we haven't been the most outspoken supporters of Pete Carroll on this podcast, that's for sure. But when you look at it, Pete supporting these guys and rallying them up as if this is the biggest game they're ever going to play, and then them actually coming out and giving that energy is really commendable for a head coach.
It is.
And I feel like we need to give a shout out. So, coach of the game, I feel like there's only really one choice. I mean, I guess Pete Carroll is going to get coach of the game.
Nathaniel
Congratulations. Yeah. Wah, wah. No, but for special teams player of the game, Jason Myers had a field goal. I might
I
go with
said
DJ
I
Dallas.
was gonna say DJ Dallas has some nice
Really, DJ
returns.
Dallas had a hit. Do you remember that?
Oh
Do you remember that
yeah,
hit?
that was a banger hit.
And guess what? And guess what jersey number he's wearing? 31. How fitting is that, man?
Bam Bam Cam, come on.
It's perfect. And Will Dissly wearing number 89, catching touchdowns. Like, it's
Love
perfect.
it.
It's
Oh,
perfect.
Baldwin in attendance too, man. Doesn't get better than that.
It was perfect down to the last minute details.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's gonna wrap it up. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Seahawks team is legitimate? Do you think it's all just a product of the moment? Give your thoughts on Geno Smith. Give your thoughts on this defense. Had their ups and downs. Do you think that they can replicate what they had? And how much are you rooting for the Seahawks this year? Because I feel like this team is especially easy to root for this year.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts on that. See if you guys believe in that as well. As always, subscribe, leave a like, ring that bell whenever we post videos. Season has started. We're going to be getting these out all the time.
Yep.
And also, as always, listen to this wherever you get your podcasts, Google, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever. Feel free to listen and get those podcasts. Mike, any last words?
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Seahawks country.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.